What's up guys, welcome back to the most underrated channel on YouTube. Today I'm going to quickly cover a concept and a really important point, and that is overthinking versus careful planning. And I'm going to give you guys an example which really illustrates this best, okay? Now as always, when I give examples, there's obviously limitations to them, but sometimes it really helps when you have an example, because some people initially they don't understand the idea, or perhaps my explanation wasn't pitch perfect. So sometimes when you have an example, even if people can't always relate exactly to that example, they can see the lesson that you're trying to illustrate. So that's why I try and give examples, even if you haven't been through a fitness journey, even if you haven't written the books or something like that, you can usually understand the lesson I'm trying to teach you when I give an example like that. Okay, so overthinking is a really common problem, okay, and it affects everyone in their everyday life, most people anyway, and it can cause some really negative consequences, okay. And careful planning is something that is really difficult to do when you're an overthinker, because you would assume that somebody who is overthinking, thinking all the time, would have a lot of mental energy to therefore create plans and implement them. However, that's usually the opposite of what's true. So usually people who are careful planners have very deliberately intended what they're going to focus on, and they just focus on those things. Now they can get distracted, okay, I'm going to talk about the book Hyperfocus in another video, but again, we're just keeping things very simple here. So overthinkers and careful planners, so they are not the same. I think they people can, by chance be both, okay, but usually people who are careful planners tend to have they've got to the point where they're thinking very consciously, whereas overthinkers tend to be thinking of the reactive, okay? So if you think about it, overthinkers tend to be reactive, careful planners tend to be proactive, okay? So that really illustrates it very clearly, but if you wanted a better explanation, so overthinkers tend to be thinking really, okay, what's he thinking, what's she thinking, really overthinking things, okay, they're thinking about problems, consequences before a decision has even started, and they're getting like paralysis by analysis, okay? So like I said, you might have initially assumed that careful planners are overthinkers, but that's not the case at all. Okay, and I wanted to give a better example to highlight this, okay? So let's say, for example, you decided to lose weight, or whatever the reason is, you're deciding to count your calories or count what you're taking into your body, okay? So somebody who's an overthinker, what they might do is they might just keep eating the way they are and quickly be like, oh, I've eaten this, let me record it, or let me, or even if they're preparing their meals, they're recording every single thing that they're eating, they're recording, like, they're weighing every single spoon that they're putting in, okay? And I'm not going to talk about the issues with that in another video, the psychological issues of that potential manifestations of an eating disorder. That's something for another video, okay? But, at a base level, you can actually respect what they're doing. They're trying to improve themselves, they've got a goal, and they're trying to work on it, okay? But the difference between that and someone who has the same goal and might even reach the outcome in a faster or better, or even if they don't reach it as fast or as quickly, they're going to enjoy the experience a lot more, and that person is the careful planner, okay? So imagine the same thing, like I said, these two people, they want to lose weight or they want to keep whatever, and they're trying to eat in a better way. So this person is weighing everything they eat at the time they weigh it, okay? This other person, what they're doing is they're saying, okay, I'm going to prepare my meals for the week, which the other person might have been doing as well, okay? So when you cook your meals throughout the week, you know that, like, okay, so I'm going to cook like 2 kilos of chicken and I'm going to eat like 4 or 5 times a week, okay? So you don't need to weigh out the chicken every single time you eat it, okay? All you need to do is that one calculation to see, okay, this is how much protein, this is how many calories it's in, okay? That's for the whole thing, so 2 kilos, 3 kilos, however much you eat, okay? And then divide it by the number of meals you make. So I made 5 meals, I made 6 meals, divided by 6. You know that therefore every single day you're eating that much protein and that many calories. Now, of course, unexpected things can happen, and you might, not follow that. You might eat something else, you might do something else, and it might be important to record that. But there's a very big difference between someone who's, quickly making all the meals, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, okay, and then each day I'm recording everything, I'm having this sip of water, okay, and somebody who says, okay, I know I'm going to be eating this throughout the week, let me just record it now, okay, divide it by this number, that's roughly what I'm eating each day, okay. If I deviate a bit, there's a big difference in the approach, the enjoyment, and just the lessons that they've learned on their journey. So that's why I'm trying to teach you that, so you can become a careful planner quicker than an overthinker. Now, I gave this example of calorie. It could apply to anything. It could apply to budgeting. It could apply to whatever you're trying to do. But if you're very careful about your planning, if you're very careful about your distraction, it's easier to deal with a distraction or a problem before it becomes a problem, which I know is probably something that an overthinker thinks, which is why they're overthinking things. But if you have a very careful plan, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to do it, this is what I need to do day by day, this is what I need to do week by week. So can you see, this person is really concerned with exactly what happens at each moment, okay? The other person who is a careful planner, they know that these things take time, okay? So they've broken it down, okay? So I need to be this by the end of this week, this is what I need to do each day, let me do it. This other person is thinking, right, I just got to do everything I possibly can to get that, you know. They're not wrong for doing that, and they're not a bad person or anything, but you can see the level of stress they're accumulating, and you can see the chance of them not succeeding or having problems or burning out is much higher than the person who's a careful planner. So that's why I want you to realise that a lot of these things that people strive for in life, like a better body, like better finances, like an improved relationship, like an improved status, whatever they are long-term goals. And so therefore, you just need to make sure that you're doing the right things overall, okay? Each day you might miss one thing. You might, like I said, the person who's a careful planner, they're not going to put the exact same amount of food in each one, okay? They're not going to put exactly 56 grams of rice in each one, or like 48 grams of chicken, 48 grams of protein in each Tupperware. But it doesn't matter, because they know that overall this is what they've put in, okay? So day by day, even if they ate a little bit less calories than they wanted to that day, it doesn't matter, because on the next day they put a little bit more in the Tupperware. Can you see? It doesn't matter, because overall they've planned for the journey ahead, and so that actually accounts for some of the deviations you would see. Whereas the other person, they're just doing a reactive policy. They're hoping that they get enough. They're hoping that each day is exactly the same. So that's why they're being too over meticulous, and they're overthinking too many of the details, and that's ruining their enjoyment. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope you can see the difference between an overthinker and a careful planner, and how actually they're much more different than you might seem, but there is a bit of overlap between them, and that's why it's important for you to take the lessons of the careful planner, choosing your intentions and setting your intentions deliberately as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Take care, peace out, follow for more amazing content.